Well, good morning, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It is the 15th of June, 90 days remote. We did actually sneak into the office here this past Thursday for a quick meeting, but again, kind of weird to be back in the office environment. We do have a couple new employees. We got Ed McClain, who we hired as our EVP of Sales and Marketing, and we hired a Senior Systems Engineer, John Heese, both rock star employees. Always challenging when they start in this kind of environment, remote environment. But again, welcome aboard to these two fine folks. Thought we'd look at the year-over-year trends here across the U.S. So this is just, again, year-on-year for a national level. So we had that really cool start in May. Year-on-year is very cold. But here the last few weeks, May 27th through today, is about the fifth warmest in 35 years. So pretty much of a warm trend. Got a little bit of a dip of temperatures here starting off this week, and then warming up as we go through the Father's Day weekend, and then maybe getting cooler again as we go toward the 4th of July week. But again, a very warm pattern here. Looking at the Precip Trends here, again, we had a very wet mid-May, but been pretty dry since. So late May and here into the second week of June here, driest in 9 years nationally. We'll continue those generally drier trends as we go through probably this week, and then maybe a wetter pattern as we get into the period the week after Father's Day. So again, last year this time actually was the coldest in 10 years and wettest in 3. So kind of a hot, dry pattern versus last year's cool, wet pattern. So kind of a flip-flop here. Looking at one thing that's causing some of these trends is just La Nina. We definitely see it here. You see these blue, much below normal water temperatures flaring up very, very quickly here in the Equatorial Pacific. So no doubt La Nina is here, and again, probably going to continue through much of this year and probably into early next year. One thing that happens with that is just a drier cycle in the United States, and we're seeing that happen right now. So back on 14 May a year ago, only 9% of the country had dry to drought conditions, so that's epically low. In fact, historically low. 1 January here, start off this year, we were about 24%, and then here as of the 9th of June, we're up to 39% of the country in D0, D4 dry to drought-like phases. So it's expanding from the west into the central U.S. We'll see, again, we think this will hit about 50% by year end, and probably north of 54% as we go into early spring 2021. The other implication here obviously with the drier trend is obviously a decrease in tornadic activity. Tornadoes year to date are down 30% across the U.S. Compared to last year. That's 10% below average. So you can see the red line here is 2020. That bluish line is 2019, and then the epic year was 2011. So we're down 55% over the really active year back in 2011. So again, a below average tornado season. Might have a few severe weather events up in the upper plains here this week, but again, nothing major on the horizon right now. Looking at this week, third week of June here, about the same conditions last year, 0.1 degrees cooler than last year, making it the coolest in 12 years, 10th coolest in 35 years, so below average nationally. But again, cool start, warm finish, definitely got a warmer pattern as we go toward through the week. Driest in 4 years, 15th driest in 35 years, so below average national rainfall. Wet spots would be there in Carolina and maybe some in the plains. But again, that's thunderstorm activity, so it's hit or miss. Looking at next week, 22 through 28 June, about 0.7 Fahrenheit warmer than last year nationally, making it the 14th warmest in 35 years. Just a hair above average, so near average on a national scale, but very, very hot west and warmish and humid on the east coast, and kind of cooler and drier in the middle of the country here. Wettest in 14 years, we'll see about that. There's a big swath of rain through the Ohio Valley. We'll see about that next week. Second wettest in 35 years if that does happen. Some heavier rain down toward Louisiana. We'll have to watch the tropics. Of course, the models are always getting excited this time of year, but does show something in the Western Caribbean, maybe for South Texas. We'll see. We'll see about that. But a little bit of a lull here for tropical activity, but we do think that's going to flare back up here probably within a 2-3 week period here. So don't get lulled to sleep, because hurricanes are going to be extremely active this year. Real quick here, we'll just end with the 2-week aggregate for the world overall. So this is the next 2 weeks. Again, general trend is hot west in the U.S., cool in the central, and mild to warm in the northeast. Very warm across northern Canada. Europe is again kind of on the warmish, wettish side. They had been cool. Western Russia again very, very cold, but Siberia very, very warm. So kind of a flip flop there, and cool and generally wettish in the Mediterranean. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back here this time next week.